Remember when Republicans pretended to care about American values? They'd talk about law and order, wave around their little pocket constitutions, and proudly profess that if the government ever became tyrannical, they would stand up to that overreach. Well, now we see that overreach every day, and Donald Trump wipes his butt with the Constitution as Republicans applaud. That's the current state of things. That is the hypocrisy, the cognitive dissonance that we see out of MAGA, and it has to be called out, which it just was by Jasmine Crockett in a brutal takedown of not only all of MAGA, but Jim Jordan, shutting him up to his face in front of Congress. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into Jasmine Crockett's takedown of Jim Jordan to his face, we got to start where she did, a call out of all of MAGA right here.
Because I don't know why we still arguing about what the Constitution say. I'm still confused. So let me tell you what the Supreme Court had to say. In the decision AARP et al. Versus Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, this is the opinion that came down May 16th, 2025 regarding the Texas situation. It specifically says on page 3, so you don't have to read too far, in paragraph number 2, it says, the Fifth Amendment entitles aliens to due process of law in the context of removal proceedings. And they were quoting Trump v. JGG, which is also a 2025 case. They go on to say procedural due process rules are meant to protect against the mistaken or unjustified deprivation of life, liberty, or property. That's why we've been talking about Abrego. And then the next sentence goes on to say, we have long held that no person shall be removed from the United States without opportunity at some time to be heard. I'd like to enter the Supreme Court decision. I don't even like this Supreme Court. I want to point that out. I would like to enter this into the record for all those that don't understand what the Constitution says. And it's been reaffirmed by, this is Trump's Supreme Court. That's why I don't like it. I'm just be honest. It's been reaffirmed by his Supreme Court. Unanimous consent, Mr. Chair.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
They do not care about the Constitution. They don't. They could not be more selective in what they care about. And they're even selective when they're selective. We got to guard the Second Amendment with every bit of us, every ounce, as much as we can. What if the government became tyrannical? What if there was overreach? What if Donald Trump suggested, we do away with habeas corpus? Then we're going to need those guns. And now what? Donald Trump is a wannabe dictator. He's not a wannabe dictator. He's acting as a dictator, and they don't care. They're not fighting back because, of course, they're not. They just fall in line. And that is why Jasmine Crockett called out the Republicans just falling in line, not minding the Constitution at all. What Donald Trump is doing in a takedown, which Jim Jordan got shut up right here.
Who accused me and my colleagues over here of ignoring the Constitution. And if that were true, that'd be a very serious matter. So I did want to just inquire as to what exactly the accusation is. So I'll happily yield to the gentlewoman from Texas if she'd like to respond. Do you believe that someone who has snuck into our country, entered the United States illegally, that the due process requirements for that individual are the same as they are for a U.S. citizen?
I thought the question was for me, but it seems like the lawyers on this side or just my entire team knows the answer.
Mr. Chairman?
Per the Constitution, yes, if you are on our soil, you are guaranteed due process. And the fact that there's even a question is why we are struggling right now. In addition to, an additional issue that I have is the executive order that was signed by the president that seemed to get rid of birthright citizenship, which also is laid out in the Constitution, which is why even the most conservative judges have ruled against. There is no one that has ruled that that was okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So
thank you.
That's simply untrue. The Supreme Court has made it very clear that due process is a context-dependent inquiry. And someone who is here illegally in this country facing deportation the requirements of due process are specific to that
So
conduct.
I just want to clarify, and I know that there's lawyers on that side. It's just like we have different standards in general. Like you have a higher standard when it comes to a criminal case versus a civil case, right? So it's preponderance is going to be the burden on a civil case, and then it's going to be higher as it relates to a criminal case, right? It's beyond a reasonable doubt. That is going to be the burden of proof. When the Supreme Court was making distinctions, the distinctions weren't necessarily between is this person a citizen or is this person not. It wasn't a matter of certain people are not allowed to have due process, but it's kind of like there's different ways to evaluate things. The amount of protections that you are going to have in any criminal case. If you think about those that are charged with murder, whether they are a citizen or not, guess what? The burden of proof is still going to be the same. The burden of proof is still going to be beyond a reasonable doubt. There was never a distinction that said somehow, dependent upon your status, you somehow lose your access to due process. And frankly, that is honestly the only thing that the Supreme Court has been consistent on, is that there are due process rights that are going to be afforded to everyone that is found within our jurisdiction in the United States. I have not seen a case where they have said, no, it's okay for someone not to have due process. That is why the plane that was about to leave Texas, they said stop the plane literally at 1 a.m, because there had not been due process for those that were currently being held in the administration's custody. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I think I understand your position a little better now. I can't say I agree with everything you said, but I would just say perhaps be careful with throwing out accusations or ignoring the Constitution, without carefully considering those statements, because the demands of due process is not just something that is the same in every context. It's
Mr.
very
Chairman,
much
I have a
context
unanimous,
dependent. So I yield back.
unanimous consent request.
Gentlelady is recognized for unanimous consent.
I'd like to submit for the record the Constitution of the United States Fifth Amendment explained, so that the gentleman can see exactly what is in the Constitution, where it says no person shall be deprived of due process.
I would just point out the Supreme Court, as the gentleman from California has said, has firmly, I'm quoting the Rehnquist from Justice Rehnquist, has firmly and repeatedly endorsed the proposition that Congress may make rules as to aliens that would be unacceptable if applied to citizens.
But
There
currently
is
the
process
Constitution
due, but
says-
it's not the same process due American citizens.
Mr.
Without
Chairman, it
objection-
just says no
without
person,
objection, the
and
Fifth
so-
Amendment will be entered in front of the Judiciary
Thank you
Committee's record.
so much. I just
even
wanted to
though-
make sure everybody knows what the
even
Fifth
though
Amendment says.
we will take
Maybe
it.
we could introduce the 14th Amendment too, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that's fine too. Well, you can introduce the whole Constitution. God bless you.
I love at the end there for Village Jayapal saying, I'd like to enter into the record the Constitution. It's like, you remember that thing you swore to defend, to protect, to honor, to follow? Founding documents? No. We don't care anymore. I guess they really don't. They're happy to be public with it. They are very happy to be public with it. That's kind of been the theme lately. That MAGA thinks, Trump certainly does, as long as they are outward in their criminality, they're outward in their corruption, they make it very clear how little they care. Maybe no one else will. They're not hiding in secret anymore. They're making it pretty obvious how much they detest you, their own voters. They're only there to serve billionaires. They'll cozy up with them right in front of you. They want to make it real clear. And Jen Psaki called that out, a takedown of Trump's corruption.
Tonight, Donald Trump spent the evening whining and dining with the top investors in his family's meme coin, a type of cryptocurrency, of course. Trump's family business basically auctioned off access to the president by promising the top 220 purchasers of his coin a seat at his crypto gala, the one that was held in the last couple of hours just tonight at his golf club, of course, in Washington, D.C. Now, the top 25 coin purchasers of that 220 got even more access to Trump. They were invited to an exclusive VIP cocktail reception before the dinner. So just to be clear here, I mean, these crypto investors literally bought access to Donald Trump by enriching his family. And the more money they paid, the more access they got. It's basically the definition of an in-your-face, blatant, brazen, whatever you want to call it, pay-to-play scheme. But the White House says, don't worry, because Trump isn't doing any of this as president.
This question has been raised with the president. I have also addressed the dinner tonight. The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner. It's not taking place here at the White House.
Oh, I see. So this dinner was scheduled during Trump's personal time. His shift must end at 5 p.m., I guess. So anything after that doesn't count in terms of abiding by rules and laws and such things? That obviously is not how any of this works. I mean, when you're president, you're the president from the moment you are sworn in to the moment you leave office. Whatever you're doing, sleeping, dining, vacationing, no matter what you're doing. And the people who paid the Trump family huge sums of money by investing in this meme coin that again will benefit him and his adult sons financially, they got special access to the president. And we will probably never know who most of them are. And these donors, by the way, gave a lot. I mean, NBC News estimates that the average attendee to this dinner spent more than $1 million on Trump's cryptocurrency in order to just attend this dinner. And CNBC at the same time reports that about 764,000 people, most of whom bought much smaller amounts of Trump's meme coin, have all lost money on their investment. So small investors, the overwhelming majority, got screwed, while rich investors got a private dinner with the sitting president. And for the people who invest a lot, it's worth a lot. I mean, the person who bought more of Trump's meme coin than anyone else was this guy. His name is Justin Sun, and he's a Chinese-born crypto mogul. You can see him right there on the screen, who until recently was being prosecuted by the SEC for his own alleged crypto scams. That was until Justin Sun invested $75 million in Trump's family crypto business. And then suddenly, Trump's SEC decided to pause the case against Sun. Gee, I wonder why. We're going to have a lot more on Trump's #1 crypto fan later in the hour. There's a lot to say, including what a $6 million banana has to do with all of this. And I promise you it has something to do with all of this. But other than Justin Sun and a handful of other crypto investors, we don't actually know who the vast majority of these attendees were. All we know is that they bought access to Trump. And in an administration as corrupt as this one, that kind of access is worth a lot.
This is the administration. This is the Republican Party. This is what we can expect out of MAGA. Blatant, self-serving corruption all the time. It's the only thing they really care about doing. So it's incumbent upon us to always be calling it out and giving it attention. I do think corruption and incompetence are the themes of this administration that we need to be focused on in delivering our message. We're certainly going to be on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you soon.